Millions know her voice as a digital miracle, a girl from Wigan whose purity of tone felt like a gift from a bygone era. But as the curtain prepares to rise on London's West End this March, a startling transformation is taking place. Behind the scenes of January 2026, the studio angel is being replaced by a theatrical powerhouse. This isn't just a vocal growth, it is a high-stakes metamorphosis. Critics are skeptical, fans are polarized, and the pressure is mounting. Is she still the innocent girl we discovered on YouTube, or are we witnessing the birth of a new vocal legend? This is the untold story of the evolution of Lucy Thomas. The story begins not in the bright lights of London or New York, but in the quiet, industrial backdrop of Wigan. Here, a teenager with an otherworldly gift uploaded a video that would shatter the digital ceiling. Millions of viewers across America were captivated by a purity of tone that seemed to belong to a bygone era. Yet this initial success created a double-edged sword. The world fell in love with a child prodigy, a studio angel frozen in time. As she enters 2026, the stakes have shifted. The American audience, accustomed to the gritty vocal powerhouses of Broadway, is beginning to ask if this digital phenomenon can survive the raw, unpolished reality of a live stage. The narrative setup isn't just about a girl who can sing. It is about the burden of a perfect reputation and the looming challenge of proving that her voice has the structural integrity to evolve beyond the safe, controlled confines of a YouTube frame. For years, Lucy Thomas was categorized within the classical crossover genre, a beautiful but often restrictive space that prioritizes technical perfection over raw emotional delivery. In the United States, this genre often acts as a gilded cage, where artists are expected to remain ethereal and static. However, this month has revealed a calculated rebellion against those constraints. Analysts have noted a significant shift in her repertoire, moving away from safe hymns toward complex narrative-driven ballads. This is the tension phase of her career, the friction between the expectations of her legacy and her own artistic hunger. By analyzing her recent sessions, we see a deliberate attempt to roughen the edges of her silk-like delivery. She is no longer content with being pretty to the ear. She is striving to be profound to the soul. This transition is risky, as it threatens the very purity that built her empire, yet it is essential for her survival as a mature artist. Vocal coaches in the US are currently dissecting a specific physiological change in Lucy's output this month, the deepening of her pharyngeal resonance. This isn't merely a natural maturation of her anatomy, it is a tactical expansion of her vocal toolkit. Earlier recordings showcased a head-dominant mix that sounded light and effortless. Now, we are witnessing the emergence of a robust, chest-driven power that adds a theatrical weight to her lower register. This technical evolution is the conflict in our story. It represents the battle to master a new instrument while the world is watching. When she tackles a climax now, the vibrato is faster, more intentional, and carries a palpable sense of urgency. This change is directly linked to her career trajectory. It is the sound of an artist preparing for the physical demands of an 8-show week. The angel is finding her earth, and the result is a sound that is both familiar and startlingly new, signaling a departure from the she once was. The announcement of Lucy's lead role in the new musical has sent ripples through the international theater community. This is her crisis point. Choosing a brand new production rather than a safe revival of a classic is a high-stakes gamble on her own bankability. In the industry, a YouTube star entering the West End is often met with skepticism. Can she act? Can she project? Can she hold a stage without the benefit of a post-production mix? This month's rehearsals have become the ultimate proving ground. The narrative focus here is on the sheer pressure of the March horizon. Every rehearsal clip released is being scrutinized by critics waiting for a slip-up. The drama lies in the silence between the notes, the moments where she must prove that her artistry isn't just a digital illusion, but a tangible, theatrical force capable of commanding one of the most prestigious rooms in the world. It is the classic story of a newcomer fighting for a seat at the table of legends. The most dramatic growth witnessed this month isn't just vocal, it is interpretative. In her latest performances, Thomas has transitioned from performing a song to living a narrative. This is the twist in our documentary arc. While critics were busy analyzing her high notes, Lucy was mastering the art of the subtext. Her facial expressions and phrasing now suggest a deep internal dialogue with the lyrics. In the US market, where acting through song is the gold standard, this development is her most potent weapon. She is using her technical perfection as a canvas rather than the final product. By intentionally breaking her line or adding a breathiness to certain phrases, she is humanizing her voice. This subtle deconstruction of her perfect image is exactly what the audience didn't see coming. It turns her vocal prowess into an emotional narrative, making her not just a singer, but a storyteller. This pivot is what will allow her to transcend the crossover label and become a true dramatic lead. As her new, more aggressive style begins to circulate online, the fallout is becoming visible in the comments and the metrics. A segment of her audience, used to the soothing lullabies of her youth, is expressing a sense of shock. This is a critical narrative segment, the friction of growth. We see a polarization between those who want her to stay pure and those who are electrified by her new power. In America, this type of artistic rebranding often leads to a massive surge in relevance. We are documenting the moment a niche artist becomes a mainstream powerhouse. The impact on her reactions is profound. She is attracting a younger, more theater-centric demographic while challenging her older fans to keep pace with her evolution. This friction is not a sign of failure, but a sign of vital artistic life. She is no longer a background soundtrack for a quiet evening. She is a front-and-center performer demanding the listener's full, undivided emotional attention. Documenting the fallout requires us to look at the physical and mental cost of this evolution. The transition to a belt-heavy musical theater style is grueling. This month, there have been subtle indications of the intense discipline Lucy has adopted. The stepped away from the spotlight moments where she is reportedly focused on vocal recovery and stamina training. This is framed not as a weakness, but as a professional necessity. For the US audience, this adds a layer of respect for her work ethic. We are highlighting the difficult chapter of transition, the long hours of repetition, the strict vocal rest, and the psychological weight of leading a multi-million-pound production. This section emphasizes that her incredible growth isn't accidental. It is the result of a calculated, almost athletic training regime. The narrative here is one of resilience. She is paying the price in sweat and silence to ensure that, when the curtain rises in March, the voice that meets the audience is indestructible. Industry insiders and vocal specialists are beginning to change their tune. The narrative arc moves into fallout as the elite gatekeepers of the theater world weigh in on her January progress. Where there was once cautious optimism, there is now a growing sense of inevitable success. This point in the documentary analyzes the critical reception shift. By comparing her early career reviews with current industry buzz, we see a trajectory that is pointing toward a historic debut. In the US, the underdog story is a staple, and Lucy is perfectly positioned as the digital underdog taking on the traditional establishment. The technical artistic decisions she made this month, choosing specific, difficult arrangements, have signaled to the critics that she is not afraid of failure. This bravery is impacting her career trajectory in real time, moving her from influencer to institution. The narrative builds as the skepticism of the past is slowly replaced by the anticipation of a transformative theatrical event. There is a profound irony in Lucy's current position. She is reaching her artistic peak while being more scrutinized than ever before. This is the twist of her personal journey. The success she dreamed of as a child in Wigan is now a reality, but it comes with the crisis of losing her anonymity. As she prepares for her digital footprint has become a global classroom for vocal pedagogy. This month, every breath she takes is analyzed by coaches across the Atlantic. This section explores the performance impact of living in the public eye. How does a 21-year-old maintain the observational, reflective tone of a documentary subject while being the center of a viral storm? The irony is that her most human and vulnerable vocal performances are happening at the very moment she is becoming a polished superstar. We are capturing the beautiful contradiction of an artist who is becoming more relatable to her fans, even as she becomes more exceptional in her field. As we conclude the evolution of Lucy Thomas, we look toward the March premiere. This is the ending of this chapter, but the setup for the next. The documentary leaves the audience on a cliffhanger. The curtain is about to rise. We have tracked her from the pure beginnings to the powerful present. The final reflection is one of cultural context. Lucy Thomas is no longer just a YouTube singer. She is a symbol of how the next generation of stars will be forged. Her growth this month is the final piece of the puzzle, the bridge between the digital world and the physical stage. The takeaway for the American audience is clear. You are not just watching a singer. You are watching the birth of a legend. The vocal coach reaction is merely the lens through which we see a much larger transformation. As she stands on the precipice of the West End, The voice that once whispered from a bedroom in Wigan is now ready to roar in the heart of London, forever changing the landscape of modern music.